All right. Hey, welcome back. Welcome. 2025, back with the Heads or Tails podcast here. I'm Dan Hunt with Meraki Performance, helping individuals and teams win by being the best when it matters the most. And we're excited to be back. All right. We are back for 2025. And I'm shocked and surprised, reflecting as I'm coming in, that technically this is kind of season 2 for us. This is our second go around with the Heads or Tails podcast at the CatchMark studio, SportsNet studio. And we're excited to still be here, right? We're excited for the opportunity and the chance to, in this medium, to just invest in you guys, right? And support you in chasing down what we believe is the greatness within you. And that's our whole mission. Our whole point here with Meraki is that we see the greatness within individuals, and we want to do whatever we can to help you see that, but then also identify ways and strategies that you can bring that out and really ultimately develop the mental toughness and the mindset to go chase down whatever you want to chase down. And so we really try to help individuals and teams leverage that physiology, their psychology for that peak performance, for their ultimate performance. And specifically with the Heads or Tails podcast, we want to look at both sides of the coin. We want to look at, one, the side of the coin of the individual and their mindset and their attitudes, their beliefs, those types of things individually. But then also we want to be able to flip the coin to the other side and the tail side and say, how does that align with the overall program mentality? And how do you develop both, right? So this podcast, more than anything, is for those individuals who are trying to take their situation, both individually and as a team, whether you're an athlete or a coach, and say, I have the influence to make it better. That's the entire goal of this. All right. And so we're really speaking to those people. More than anything, it's those people that are trying to say, there is a lot of information out there, and how do I keep taking that information and then taking action on it? All right. That we are going to relentlessly take action and pursue, undeviating from the mission and the dreams and the things that we are trying to chase down. And that's what we want to do for you guys. All right. And if we're not the people for it, if we're not the people for you, that's fine. That's totally fine. Go somewhere else. There's plenty of people out here that will speak to you in a way that connects with you and helps you keep moving forward. But more than anything, find out what is that thing that you desire. And a lot of us in athletics, it's the desire to be great, the desire to make an impact, the desire to leave a place better than what we found it, and then go chase it. Go take action on it, all right? And so we got some cool updates for you guys, and we often don't really talk about this, but it's pretty exciting that with Meraki, we're leaning into a lot more of online offerings in creating resources and things for you athletes to connect with. In the event that you want to engage in some of this and you want to do some of this work, but you don't know how to go about it, and your coach isn't, or your program isn't in a place where they want to bring somebody like us in. And so we're developing video courses that are actually going to be launching here at the end of February, beginning of March. So keep an eye out for that. We have a newsletter right now that's going out every single week on a topic that's also connected and aligned with our YouTube page, in where we're talking about things that we're being asked about directly, and we're just addressing them. We're going out there, we're tackling these things, we're really looking at them through the lens of that, leveraging physiology and psychology, helping you equip you and develop that mindset. We're diving into those things. And one thing I would ask is go like and subscribe, right? Connect with us through the newsletter. Go to Real Dan Hunt on YouTube. And we're going on social media and we're linking all those things, but connect with us. And the second thing is let us know what you're struggling with. Let us know what are the questions that you have that you feel and perceive, these things that are blocking you from really unleashing and becoming your best version of yourself, or unleashing and really chasing that greatness down. And so if you have those things, let us know, right? We're not going to say who it's from. We're just going to answer questions. We're going to keep knocking out these topics, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing, man. This has been fun for us, and that's why we were super excited about the opportunity to continue it with CatchMark. And so I want to get into today's really focus, all right? Today's topic. And It comes from a series of conversations that I've had and continue to have and have had for the last probably decade around failure. And I know we've all like, oh, failure and failure's okay and failure, like, I get all that. And we're going to talk about that, right? I'm a firm believer in that. I'm going to give you a little bit of my perspective. I'm going to share some of my my story a little bit more in the failure that I've experienced. But then I also want to like help you as the individual be able to like, what's the mindset? What is a productive performance enhancing mindset or view of failure? And maybe how can I use it, right? How can I use failure? And then the other thing is really understanding like failure and how it's not representative of who we are. All right. And in some scenarios, I'll say that maybe it is, but to help us kind of shift a little bit on that. And so the one thing I want to just, as I rewind back talking about failure, is that, failure at the end of the day, when we look in the mirror, for a lot of us, failure is stopping you. Like, it is completely halting your momentum, your progress, your development. It is stifling your self-belief, your confidence, right? And you are allowing, I want us to really embrace this thing that you are allowing it to do that. At the end of the day, you are allowing yourself to be stopped by failure, all right? And what we need to begin to do, if we really want to chase down and unleash, is we need to begin to figure out how to bounce back from failure. Figure out how to navigate with failure. Figure out how to engage and interact with failure. But we need to be able to stop letting it just halt everything. If you sit right now, you're probably reflecting right now, there is a thing right now that if you took action and if you developed that skill, or if you went and tackled this thing, that you would be a better person, that you would be a better athlete, that you would be able to bring more of yourself to your team, to the culture. You would be able to give more of yourself. But because of failure, because of this perception and mindset around failure, you're not. You're not. And I'm saying this because I see greatness within you. I see what you have. I see this. I see it all the time. And I say this because there's probably a few people that are willing to actually say it, but they're not willing to actually help you take the steps. And some people that aren't willing to do that and not willing to say that and not willing to push you because of, if you break through, if you do those things, how it's going to make them feel. All right? And I'm saying this with the passion and the fire that I am right now because I lived this. I literally lived this. I lived this failure and avoiding failure and not unleashing and dreaming and continuing to dream, but not put action to it because of what other people would think, how it made me feel, right? I lived that. And it caged me, right? And I'm speaking the way that I'm speaking because I am so passionate about helping individuals understand it for what it is and unlocking and unleashing, all right? It doesn't have to be that way. All right. But one of the first things I want you to understand, though, is that it doesn't mean you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean you're not going to fail. You're absolutely going to fail. And at the end of the day, honestly, failure has been the fabric of my success. All right. It's been the fabric of every single successful thing that I've done in my life. It's been at the core. It's been at the absolute core of it. All right. And it's been constant. It's been constant. And the thing that has allowed me to actually achieve and do the things that I'm doing, and don't get me wrong, this isn't about achievement here, all right? Do I want you to perform at your best? Absolutely. But you know what? The greatest achievement I feel all the time is that I walk with the confidence that I do. I am able to do the things that I do. Like, that to me is the ultimate thing. And because of that, and because of that developmental process, and because I enjoy that process, I'm able to achieve and do the things that I do. I get the outcomes that I get, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But again, failure has been critical and been a piece of that. All right. And so it's been fabric to my success. It is going to be at the core. All right. It's going to be a part of it. And so you can't run away from it. And if you don't want to be average, if you don't want to be just the common, if you don't want to be just a person that shows up and goes through the motion, then you have to look this in the face and you got to see the failure, right? There was a thing that I just experienced not too long ago, and Yeah, I was a big failure, and I had a friend of mine and he said, hey, look, man, the thing is that, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, the difference between most people, right, and people that end up doing all that they want to do, really that greatness aspect, like what you talk about, Dan, is that the people see failure, they look into that abyss, right? And most people look away. But the people that are great, the people that chase it down, the people that pursue this, right, and unleash are the individuals that look back. They look back. They don't turn away. They don't run the other direction. They look at it and they say, all right, I'm here. That's the thing with failure. That's the mindset that you have to develop. And the thing is that failure is information. That's all it is. That's all it is a piece of information for you. It's for you to hold up, for you to evaluate, for you to learn from, right? We've heard all these things, but it's information. There is no good or bad unless you give that the value. If you give it the value of, man, this is terrible, and oh my gosh, and all these things, and I'm terrible, and this and this and this, then all right. That's the mindset you have. That's the belief that you have. Those are the thoughts you're going to start driving. And we've talked about this many times on this podcast, is that those thoughts end up driving your emotions. And then we start getting leveraged by these emotions, and then our behaviors shift, right? And we wonder why we're not showing up the same way. We wonder why we don't walk with the confidence. We wonder why we're avoiding certain things. We wonder why we're hiding behind this or that. We wonder why when coach calls us out, we have the excuse. We wonder these things, right? And it's because we've allowed information to give it a bad value or do whatever. And we've allowed this thought around it, right, to drive something that's not beneficial to us. And we have to take ownership of that. We have to be able to look at that and go, man, it's information. What do I do with it? Right? What do I do with this? Right? And understand that it's limited. It's limited. It's that moment. It's limited to that moment. It's limited to that situation if you look at it from the lens of it's information and how do I learn from it. But if you look at it from, oh, this is who I am, I'm a failure, I suck, I this, I that, and you start making it a part of you, then that becomes who you are. And that becomes your thought process. And then you walk around wondering why, man, I just don't have, That's why. That's a huge piece. And I don't want to oversimplify this. There's other pieces to it, but that's a huge piece. That's a piece that you can control. That's a piece that you can change right now in this moment. It's information. It's information. It's not good or bad. It's how you want to pick it up. It's how you want to use it, right? And the mindset that I have is that when I fail, and I fail often, it's information. And I go, okay, what do we do with it, right? And the other thing I want to say with this too is that it's information, and you have to use it as a guide. You have to use it as a guide in that learning process. It's like, what do I need to push through? All right, I'm failing at this. What do I need to push through? I need to increase my capacity and keep pushing through this thing to get to the other side. The thing that I want and desire the most is on the other side of this. Or this skill or this thing, and what I'm trying to do is going to help equip me to get me to where I want to go. So I got to push through this. The failure is teaching me I got to push through this. I got to keep going. This failure is helping me and making me earn this, right? That it's not just going to be given to me, but it's going to be earned. And there's a different level of confidence that you have when it's earned. There's a different level. There's a different tonality and that you talk with. There's a different walk that you have. There's a different move that you take place when you earn it. When it's yours, you've invested in it, right? And then it's, what do I need to develop? Some of us actually have legit things that we're avoiding that we need to develop in. That we failed and we go, no, that failure just means I shouldn't do that. And that's not the case. That you're 100% capable. There's 100% something that you can lean into and you can develop through, and you have to go through the reps of failing and getting the information and learning from it to actually become the person that you want to be. That you say you want to be, and to achieve and do the things that you want to do. But failure is that guide to say, what are we developing? What is that area that trips me up that I need to attack and not let it just keep tripping me up? That I need to relentlessly take action and get reps on. This podcast is a great example. I've never done a podcast. I'd been on like 2 podcasts. I'd never hosted one. And every month I come in here and I do the reps and I prepare for it and I do it. And it's gotten better and better. And there's been ebbs and flows. There's been times where it hasn't been good. There's been times where I'm not articulating ideas, right? You know, the thing I don't look at is the outcomes. I don't look at the views. I don't look at these things. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm putting this out there and for the purpose of helping and equipping. And if it's 2 people, great. If it's 100 people, great. If it's 1,000 people, great. That's my purpose, is just to get it out there. Right. And then the backside of this is through these reps, I've gotten better and better as I go in and I work with the teams that I do face to face. I've gotten better at it. I've been better at conceptualizing and talking and teaching and breaking down and processing the information that I have and trying to give to them to take action on because of this. And I've done the reps. And each time I come in here, I feel more and more confident in that. Right? Because I'm doing the reps. I'm developing. This is an area that I tackled. I didn't hide. I didn't shy away from it. Right? And so it's a guide of like, what do you need to keep developing in? What do you need to keep doing? All right? And here's the other caveat with this. All right? There's some things that you just need to give up on. You just, it's not you. You aren't the guy. You aren't the girl. It's not going to be how you play the game. You aren't this, and that's fine. You need to stop making silly mistakes and putting yourself in the same place to stub your toe over and over again and fail at the same thing, knowing that even if you were to put the energy and effort into it, it actually wouldn't produce the return on investment that would help move the needle for you. Right? There's some of us that do that. There's been times even in the last year that I've said, look, the time and the energy you're putting into this thing, although you can say that, hey, it's great in a certain aspect of what I do, it's not yielding the impact that you desire. So you got to look in the mirror and say, should I do this anymore? Right? And are you doing it out of an ego thing of, hey, look what I'm doing? Or are you doing it out of hey, maybe you shouldn't, right? Here's a great example. I just thought of this, right? I put on, I talked to ADs and I work with ADs and coaches and all these things. And I came to them, I got this idea of where is is there a space where kids and athletes can go and really lean in, like a professional development for teachers and coaches and all these people, and lean in and develop and talk about these things, and they're like, oh, MHSA's done this a little bit, a little bit here, but not really. It's not really being done, especially in West Michigan. So I said, all right, I'll do it. Right. And the first time I hit the ground running, and we got 25 people in it, maybe, put a bunch of money out for it. And I was like, oh man, it kind of worked, And so I went back to ADs. Hey, I got this idea. I'm going to do another one. And here's when it's going to be. And they, and hey, will you send people? Will you say, yeah. I got a lot of ADs and even coaches. Yeah, absolutely. I'll pass along and this and this. And I'm not saying they didn't do it. Right. But I'm saying that nobody showed up in the room. Legitimately 3 people showed up in the room. Right? That was it. Right? And I learned a ton. And I could have been like, oh God, man, I'm a failure. Gosh, I suck. I didn't. I went through the reps. I have a blueprint. If people want to have that space and they're really maybe we'll do it again. But right now I learned that's not the space where people are. That might be a space that you wanted to be in, you wanted to create, and you wanted to be that guy, and you wanted to have that ego. It's maybe, yeah, that was a piece of it. But I realized that's not actually going to help what I'm trying to do. And so I said, I'm not doing that right now. That's not where I'm putting my focus. I'm putting my focus in other directions, right? And that's an example just in this last year that I failed epically. You know what it feels like to walk in a room and put all that money up and ask colleagues of yours to show up and speak, and 3 people show up? And I had to look in the mirror. All right, man, learn from it. Let's go, right? Let's keep moving. Let's take relentless action, undeviated vision to what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go, right? And that's what I'm trying to help you in. That's what I'm trying to help you do. That's what I want you to do, all right? And that's the reason why when you do this in athletics and you do this over and over and over again, and you do this in class and you do this in all these different aspects as a 17, 18, 19, 20 into college, then when you go into the real life, it's that much easier. You don't pay attention to the failures. You don't see them and go, what do I do? You don't freak out. There's no visceral reaction to it. You respond to it how you want to respond. And you go, okay, what are we doing with this? Right? And the final thing I really want to hit with this, and I want to hit home, is that you have to embrace that the failure is non-representative of who you are. It's non-representative. It's an event. It's not a character. It's not a character flaw within you. It's not like all of a sudden you are this failure in X, Y, and Z. And that was a thing that I had to get over. That was the thing that I've had to get over in my life because I made the mistakes. And the thing that I had to get over, and here's the nuance with it, is that to some degree, I was becoming the failure because I continued to make the same decisions, the same choices, and take the same actions that led to the same results without learning from it. And I was choosing that path. I was choosing that path. And I was choosing the path of becoming a failure, right? But here's the reason why I'm not a failure is because I recognized it and I changed it. I saw it for what it was and I changed it. I decided, yes, that's not who you want to be, and I did something different. And I put myself in different spaces, and I connected with different people, and I did the hard wrestle, and I looked into that abyss, and I kept doing it over and over and over and over again. And some of us need to hear the fact that you are making the same mistakes and the same things over and over and over again, all right? And if you're pushing the limits and trying to develop the skill then keep going, especially if those things are leading you to where you want to go. But if you are making, this is the other side, all right? And I'm talking to those that are, if you are making the decisions over and over and over again and getting results that one, you don't like, and two, especially do not align with where you're trying to go, then you need to make different decisions. Because you are on the path to becoming exactly what you don't want to become. All right? And that's the nuance. That's the difference there. And you have to pause and evaluate that for yourself. And I'll be honest with you, when I was at 17, 16 years old, I had that strong, like, oh no, this is good for me. Like, and now I look back and I'm like, oh man, thank God you grew up, right? Thank God you grew up. And I'm not knocking you at all. I'm being that person to say it right now, right? If that's you, you need to pause and maybe take some of these words to heart, because their life and even your athletics and your schoolwork and in life, there is so much more for you. There is so much more for you. And I want to see you unlock that. I want to see you chase that thing down. I don't want to see you be average. I want to see you be uncommon. And I want to challenge you to do the uncommon things. All right? And so we have to be able to understand that nuance there and be able to recognize when we're making that decision over and over and over again that's not beneficial, it's not helping us get to where we are, and we're on the wrong path, we need to shift to the other one. And when we are relentlessly chasing that thing down and we are moving and we are chasing it, right? And we are taking ownership of our actions and what we're doing, okay? That's when it's non-representative, because we learn from it, we grow from it, we adjust, and we keep moving forward and attacking, all right? And so that's what I wanted to talk about today is failure, how you can bounce back, how you can begin to like cultivate and develop and fortify that mindset, all right? How you can, through this, become mentally tough. Like part of mental toughness is, do you have the capacity when you make the failure to not knee-jerk reaction, pull the chains back, shift directions, do all this, throw your hands up, I don't know what to do? Or can you tell your emotions to take a back seat, you're not leveraging me, and this is where I'm moving and this is where I'm going? That's mental toughness. And it happens after like rep after rep, time after time, over and over and over again. But it only happens if you take action. It only happens if you attack it. All right? And that's how we got to look at failure, okay? It's been the fabric of my success, all right? And I'm going to keep failing. I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep stretching. I'm going to keep going and doing things that scare me, that I don't know if I can do to gain the skills to be able to do, to keep doing more things. And I've never had more fun than what I'm having right now. I've never felt more fulfilled than what I have right now. I've never been able to do and move and have the confidence, but even to invest in impact like I have and like I'm doing right now. All right? And I want you to do the same. And it's going to look different for everybody. We're all different. We all have different risk tolerances. All right. We all have these different things. And that's part of that physiology and psychology that we talk about. Right. But these are some general principles and some groundwork that you can begin to lay down now. And we're at the tail end of January. And some of us might have set some things that we were trying to do that we're already shifting off of because we go, I just don't know. And I'm telling you, hammer through it. Let's get it. Look at it for what it is and keep going. There's a reason why you set what you set. There's a reason why you have the dreams that you do or the vision that you do. And you need to keep going. And you need to be audaciously, unapologetically you in that pursuit. And then you need to bring everybody you can with you. All right? That's what I want to see us do. Okay? And so I'm going to end with that. I'm going to wrap this up and just say, guys, keep sharing this. Keep sharing this. We want to keep getting this out to you and your teammates. We want to keep, helping resource and equip and encourage and inspire, whatever it may be for you. All right. And if this isn't it, then you can reach out to us. Let us help you, connect you with people that can help you, or people that maybe can speak to you in a different way and connect with you. Like, we're all for that. We want to do that. All right. But keep sharing this, keep liking, please subscribe to this. Like, that's how we continue to grow this thing. All right. And you being great on your own is cool. Right. But I would also argue, even in that, is that you can't be great alone. I haven't been able to do anything that I've done to this point on my own. There's been people in encouragement and people on my side and people cheering me on left and right. And there's been people that have tried to roadblock me, and I've learned from them too. And thank you. Thank you. Because you've been great teachers as well. All right. We can leverage all of it. And that's the mindset that we're trying to develop. All right. And then the other thing is, check us out. Check Real Dan Hunt on YouTube. We're going to start throwing more and more stuff out like that. You can check us out on social media at Meraki Perform. We're updating stuff like that, trying to really connect there and ask questions, guys. We want to keep bringing you things that are applicable to you, that connect with you, and challenges that you're facing right now that we can help you navigate and move through more effectively, and even help you leverage that for your benefit. All right? Because we want to help you win. We want to help you get to where you want to go. All right? And lastly, if you want a little bit of the newsletter, all right, we're sending that out weekly. Check it out. We're going to update this description here, and we're going to get that to you guys so you can check that out and you can connect there. So appreciate you guys for connecting. Appreciate the support, the love, and keep chasing it down. All right, greatness is within.